Welcome back to LakePoint Sports, the second week of the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt. Avery, we've got an exciting matchup today. The Jefferson Dragons, Eston Simpson, former Prep Baseball Future Games MVP, going against a deep Alexander team. What's the excitement level for you on this one?
Always excited to have, top-level baseball here at LakePoint. And, today's no different. Looking forward to this matchup we got going on.
Yeah, and everything you're going to see across these next couple days here during the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament, this entire broadcast brought to you by Geo Surfaces. You're going to see a whole new look here at LakePoint Sports with these new resurfaced fields. Let's take a look at what went into making this a reality for these players to step on to some new look surfaces here at LakePoint Sports. Breakneck pace to get this all accomplished in time for us to get action back on the fields here at LakePoint Sports. So you have to be asking yourself, it looks great, but how does it play? I went and asked some of the coaches from last week's GDC action what they thought of the new fields.
New fields look great. Huge upgrade from what you guys have had in the past. We actually saw it on Instagram the day before we got up here, and we actually thought it was plans for what you guys were doing. It looks so digital and clean. And we got out here and realized y'all actually did it, so it's beautiful. We love it. It plays well.
I think last night the ball played really well off the field. I like the different color pattern schemes out there. It really enhances the ball, especially at the nighttime scene with the way the weather is here at different times. But really impressed with the new turf and how they got it put in.
We love it. I know our boys have been raving about it. I'm sure the lighter color hopefully keeps it a little cooler in the summers and stuff. But striped up, looks good, man. We look forward to playing on it.
Number one, the design's really good. Two, the ball bounces more natural, which is nice. I think it's probably due to the sand or the pellets. The old field was kind of high, especially with the base hit, but it's bouncing more natural, so it's really good. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more cushion on it. I think it plays truer. There's not as much kind of checking up, especially when the outfield ball's hit. I think it plays a little truer. And the look of it, is great. I think it brings a true baseball look, feel to it, and it's in great condition.
You can definitely tell a difference in the consistency, and I think most important for the guys, it looks like a traditional baseball field from the dirt to the grass. I think it plays better in your head, plays better in your eyes, and just gives you probably an overall better experience.
So let's take a look at how the Jefferson Dragons and Alexander Cougars are going to line up today as they continue our action here at the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. Jefferson leading off with Rhett Hemphill, left fielder, followed by Aiden Mixon, Jace Peoples at shortstop, Chris Law at first base, Josh Causey is your designated hitter, Steven Tavares at third base, Owen Prim playing center field, Hudson Hodge behind the plate, and Aaron Strickland at second base. Eston Simpson, we mentioned him, going to be on the mound for Jefferson to start things off. Then meanwhile with Alexander, you've got Joshua Sellers, Andrew Stewart, Colton Pickett, Jesse Williams, Mac Nail, he'll be in left field. Then you got Micah Green, the center fielder. Nathan Cromley at third base, Devin Strickland at right field. Micah Sickler at second base, and Heath Henley going to be on the mound for Alexander. So, Avery, let's talk a little Eston Simpson. This is a guy who made absolute waves in the 2022 Prep Baseball Future Games, ended up becoming a Clemson commit. This guy just kind of set the world on fire at the Future Games and wrote it into this commitment.
Absolutely. We saw him, obviously, like you said, at the Future Games. I was lucky enough to have, on field, be on the field to experience that. And, he showed up at the event and was as marketed. So, he was able to go out and have a really good outing for us. And, all the college coaches here, it was really impressive what he was able to do, and everybody seemed to take notice and, the performance he had and the stuff that he was able to display.
So I do want to throw it out there. We have seen a lot of really great players here at the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. We're going to now see Alexander head onto the field. And I want to throw this out there real quick as we look at them lining up. The amount of high-level players that we've seen in this tournament. Terrence Bowen is a big-time player for Alexander, also a basketball player. He's not going to be out there on the field today for Alexander in this matchup. But what do you expect to see from a team that maybe then feels like, you know what, our dude's not out here, but we've got a little something to prove?
Absolutely. Those are the teams, they're, like you said, Terrence is still playing basketball, so, they're out with, they're without one of their major guys. So, I mean, they'll try to go out and prove that, we're still a really good ball club even without Terrence, even though he's not here yet. So, look to see a scrappy effort for those guys and, fully expect to be a close game here with Jefferson.
All right, so Alexander going to take the field now. Going to get to see them in action as we get this thing going, and just an exciting weekend as we continue this. This is a bit of an abnormality for us when we think about the spring schedule here at LakePoint Sports. We'll see a lot of these players as they come back into the fold later this summer with their travel teams. But I guess from somebody who's here so much and seeing so much baseball action, what does this kind of do for you as being the table setter and that kind of tone setter for what's to come when we get so many great high school games to kick things off?
Absolutely. I mean, historically we start out with our youth stuff, so our 14 and under stuff. So being able to see all these high school guys all in one place kind of at the beginning of the season and before summer kind of, kicks us off with some high-level baseball and kind of leads into our youth season. So it's always fun to have, all of these guys in one central spot, not have to bounce all over the state. I know our scouting guys who will be on later, Hudson and Ian, they really appreciate kind of being at the home base to be able to see some of these, upper-level players in the state early in the year, and that kind of saves them some effort and stuff being able to go out and see all this stuff. So I think they're always happy that it's right here at, the home park.
Saves them gas money too, right? I mean, then they don't have to, then you're not getting so much in mileage and all that fun stuff, so and wear and tear. And but yeah, obviously, it's a little bit of a breather here for everybody. So let's talk a little bit about Heath Henley, who's going to be here on the mound to start things off for Alexander. 6'4", 205 right-handers. You can see he gets the fastball up to 86. Says about 71 to 76 with the curveball, the change about 74 to 76. I think at least what I picked up on during the first weekend of this event was how the pitchers seemed so amped and just ready to roll those first couple innings, but it was around that third, fourth inning where things kind of maybe started to get a little bit dicey. So I think one thing, at least I think you need to be watching for Heath Henley is just how does he pace himself in an environment like this?
Absolutely. As he started there with ball one, but, we saw last weekend, really good performances by a lot of starting pitching. Games kind of get a little dicey for both sides when they're able to get into the bullpen, especially early in the season. Maybe some guys that are, not as seasoned at this level yet, but, that's definitely, we saw, the team with the better bullpen after the starters usually comes out on top. We saw that in both games we did last weekend.
I went right down the middle for a strike. All right, Henley delivers. Oh, that one's going to bounce away, so we're going to have a base runner to start things off.
Cory, kind of like you said, will be interested to see how both starting pitchers kind of, are able to pace themselves, maybe get deeper into this ball game a little bit later in the season than last week. So I think both guys will try to keep those pitch counts down, be able to kind of get some more length and maybe not get at the bullpen as early.
All right, so now we're going to see a Mixon come up to the plate for Alexander.
Early mound
I'm
visit.
sorry, excuse me, for Mixon up the bat for Jefferson. Getting a little carried away with myself here. Yeah, Mixon, an outfitter, 5'11", 180 pounds, 90.3 exit velo. We've got him listed at. Runs the 60 and 7.31. Currently uncommitted.
You see an early mound visit there, maybe trying to calm him down a little bit, kind of get in the strike zone, find that release point. Trying to keep that pitch count down early here.
Shows bunt, pulls back, runner's going to go, and in time, able to get the steal. Nice little jump there.
If you're Jefferson, this is the ideal start. Get that leadoff guy on, get him to second base without having to lay down a bunt. And now, the arsenal of things you can do is wide open. Whether you want this, whether you want to bunt here or just let him swing away, and then you get into the middle of the order.
Swing and a miss. People may have saw when we started off. You got the nice short sleeve new prep baseball look hoodie there. So yeah, you're a walking fashion model for us for all the new prep baseball logo gear.
Absolutely. Said last week, but Crystal Miller, who runs our store and merch shop here at LakePoint, does a great job, and she takes care of me. So I'm very appreciative, and I'm always interested in any new stuff I'm able to get my hands on. I'll be glad to rock and show off the new logo and branding stuff on our side.
That's right. Yeah, just so much new. I mean, think about obviously the new fields, and I mentioned the work that Geosurfaces did. 40 days it took for them to get these new fields up and running. So it's just a monumental feat when you think about it. And I think we've heard nothing but just fantastic responses from everybody. Shooter Hunt and I were talking about it, Prep Baseball Vice President of Scouting this morning, and he just was blown away by them. Obviously, the reactions from the coaches, the players, everybody's just so excited about it. And mentioned the new logo for Prep Baseball. So just a lot new coming your way in 2024 here at LakePoint Sports. That one goes into right field, going to be down. Runners checking at third, going to pull back. So we got runners at the corners here with no outs in the top of the first inning. Jefferson is now threatening. They're going to have Pickett up to the plate now. Excuse me, I say Pickett. That's actually Jace Peoples. Getting my lineups confused a little bit here as we start this thing off. Get my Alexander lined up and my Jefferson lineup a little bit confused here, but we're gonna roll into this thing. Jace Peoples now with an opportunity to break through for Jefferson. Peoples is senior, 6 foot. He's a Snead State Community College signee, 25th ranked shortstop in Georgia, number 123 overall. 6 foot, 200-pound righty.
Middle of the order up here for Jefferson. Interested to see if that runner at first base is in motion, try to get two guys in scoring position, maybe steal a run in a first and third situation. So let's see if he's in motion.
All right, runner's going. That throw is going to be wide. Runner's going to skip across the plate, so a run in as that throw gets away from the second baseman as they try to pin down the running game. So Jefferson just taking advantage. We saw this a week ago. Walks were killers, and so too were miscues, and that's certainly a little bit of that at play. Is Jefferson able to get on the board and on the run, the runner trying to get into second for the steal. So we're going to have Chris Law to follow. We'll see what Jace Peoples is able to do now. Swing and a miss by Peoples. Nice delivery there from Henley. Mentioned a lot of new. We got some new chairs here in the studio. We're sitting a little bit higher. Like we're in these bar stools. Maybe we need to get our hair cut, get a nice little fade going during the game. So we'll see if we can work a barber into this equation as well.
I think that would add to the broadcast. Haircut mid-broadcast for
That's
both
right.
of us would be an interesting look.
They got him at the Atlanta Hawks games. You can go up and you can sit in the barber shop there. It's got the window looking down into the court. I think we could work that in here. We could get a barber sponsor going for these broadcasts, and we can just kind of chill, get the shave and then the trim up and call a baseball game. Oh, it just pokes that one down, going to be into right field. Nice piece of hitting there by Jace Peoples to get that down. Runner's going to be across in time, so make it 2-0 as Jace Peoples just reaches down and pokes that one in right field for an RBI single.
Just a perfect start if you're Jefferson here. You're your first three hitters and 2 runs have already scored. We're able to swipe a base, or 2 bases now, and then middle of the order guy comes up with a guy in scoring position and Peoples, and he does exactly what you're looking for, driving him in, and there's still no outs here, and still in that middle of the order, so they're in a good spot here to start this game.
All right, here's Chris Law. Law, another senior on a senior-laden team, 6'2", 205-pound uncommitted player. Already has 1 home run under his belt this year, so we'll see if he can add another bomb and extend this lead for Jefferson. They're already up 2-0 here in the top of the first inning, have yet to get an out against them. Law watches that one go high. Law going to be followed by Josh Causey, the designated hitter, hitting for Eston Simpson. That misses outside.
Two-0 count here for a middle of the order guy. He'll be looking to do some damage here if he gets a fastball.
A little high, but Law watches that one go across for a strike. See, admiring our GeoSurface's logo is a little tight. You know, we feel like if we move too much, we might hit this thing. But
yeah, it's looking good in here.
Yeah.
I was just noticed it behind us. So, studio's getting upgraded.
That's right.
As well as the fields and logos and everything else. Just upgrades all around here.
And we got an air conditioner in here, so as it gets a little bit warmer, this is going to be a sanctuary, I think, more so than anything. And last weekend, man, we just dealt with some wild weather. It was nice on Friday, then you get here on Saturday, and it was just man, it was just ridiculous, the wind and the cold, and definitely digging what we've got going on down here. And so is Hudson Graham. You can see him on the back there in the white shirt looking down at his phone, about to drop some scout knowledge to the masses here, probably getting ready to take in whatever Eston Simpson's got for us whenever he gets on the mound for Jefferson.
Absolutely. I think the weather forecast this weekend's a little bit better. Like you said, last Saturday it was not the best baseball weather, but still had a good event. And, you know, Sunday for our first PBR, tournament of the year, the weather turned out to be pretty nice all around. It was cold in the morning, but we're lucky in the still in February to get some decent baseball weather to play in.
So you may have just noticed there were some marks in the field here. We did have a soccer tournament that had taken place, so there's still some remnants of that. If you notice, this is not the 1980s where we're sharing the LA Coliseum between the Oakland Raiders and the Oakland Athletics, but certainly some remnants of that. And there's a strikeout for the first out. So Henley comes through with the K, and one is down for Alexander.
If you're Henley here, just trying to minimize the damage as much as possible. You keep it at 2 runs here, keeps your team in it. Gives your offense a chance to stay within striking distance. One swing of the bat, you can tie the game up. So, really big 2 outs here, just trying to keep the team in it because you don't want to get down in a hole early.
Yep, Josh Causey, the designated hitter, watches that one come across for a strike. So you mentioned the process we did during our last broadcast about the Sunday series and the younger players being in action, and there was going to have to be the movement of these new mounds. What was that process like, and how daunting was it?
It wasn't. We've tested out a few different ways to kind of move some stuff around. Wasn't the most exciting thing, but we've kind of figured it out a little bit better as we've moved along. Another good breaking ball there, but it took probably 7 or 8 of us Saturday night, and the process probably took all in all about 45 minutes. I think it's a great addition with the new mounds, the 13, 54, 80, and the 11 and 12-year-old guys. Get to play off the same mound as we do for the high school 14U. Everything that's on the regulation size field. So everybody I talked to is really excited about that as well.
All right, so down goes Causey, the designated hitter, and now with 2 down in the inning is going to be Steven Tavares. Tavares playing third base today. Sends that one foul. Tavares, 6'2", 210-pound junior,
Henley's done a good job of kind of settling in here, finding the strike zone. It was escaping him a little bit early, but he's found the strike zone with a breaking ball, kind of back in there with the fastball now.
Yeah, and I'm sure, look, that hit that Peoples had that scored 1 run, the guy just reaches the barrel down there and just, there's a little bit of luck into play when you're dropping the barrel down like that to drop one into right field. So I think he'll take that, not feeling like he's being having any real issues with this lineup.
Absolutely. As a pitcher, you hate it, but it's a good piece of hitting. Found a way to sneak it through that right side there. But all in all, as a pitcher, you can't be too mad. You made a good pitch, and hitter just put a good swing on it.
Skies that one in left field. That's going to be up against the wall. That one is back, track, and gone. A home run for Steven Tavares, a 2-run shot. So just after we talk about Alexander seemingly getting out of this with limited damage. 2 more runs on the board as Steven Tavares just drills that one into left field.
Absolutely. It was a great piece of hitting there. He had 2 strikes and, got a breaking ball over the plate. And, in a 2-strike count, you have to take advantage of those opportunities, and he for sure did, blasting that one out to left field.
All right, so 2 down, 4-0 is your lead after that 2-run shot from Steven Tavares. And now here's Owen Prim. Owen Prim, a senior, Augusta University signee. Watches that one for a strike. The 18th ranked outfielder in Georgia, number 106 overall in the class. Guy can fly 6'6", in the 60. He puts one on the ground. We might see some magic here. He's got a brother, Eli Prim, a 2027, who was at the junior feature games in 2022. Nice breaking ball. Not going to get the strike call on that one.
Henley wanted the strike there. I think he's got some generous calls up, so the ball down might not get that one with the breaking ball, but, just missed there at the bottom of the zone.
Swing and a miss. So 2 strikes on him, makes it 2-2 with 2 outs. 4-0 is your lead for Jefferson. Shoots that one foul.
Good job by Prim. Battling with 2 strikes, fouling off a good breaking ball and a good spot, a good pitcher's pitch, but he was able to spoil it and stay alive in the at-bat.
All right, 2-2 from Henley. Ooh, just misses low. Gonna run the count full. Well, if Prim reaches, Hudson Hodge to follow the catcher. Oh, he punches him out right on the corner. Henley gets out of that one. 4-0, though, is your lead for Jefferson. We'll be back with more here from LakePoint Sports. This broadcast brought to you by Geosurfaces.
In outdoors, you'll always find more fun with great brands at the best prices. More of this, and this. So you can get together for a little of that, and a lot more of that. And even some of that, and that's good. Have more fun with great brands at the best prices. Only at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Back here at LakePoint Sports, this is the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. This broadcast brought to you by Geosurfaces. On the mound right now, Eston Simpson, Clemson commit. Cory McCartney with you, joined by Prep Baseball's Avery Hunt. We talked about Eston Simpson from the get-go. Man, this kid is just absolute dynamite on the mound. What are you watching for from him?
Just his ability to command the strike zone with multiple pitches. Obviously, the velo's there. That's well discussed. But with a lineup like this, you got to be able to mix speeds and be in the strike zone like we discussed earlier. Just trying to get deeper into the ball game. kind of give, with 3 games in 2 days, giving the whole staff a little bit of a rest as much as you can is kind of the big thing here early.
So Eston is the #1 right-hander in Georgia in 2025, number 6 overall. Look at it nationally. He's the 21st right-hander, number 77 overall in the class. Mentioned being a Clemson commit, that fastball gets into the 91 range. The curveball, the slider, though, that's the pitch that I remember at future games. That was the eye-opener. So let's see what he's able to do here against this Alexander lineup with just this pitch that's just absolute monster to deal with.
Seen him struggle a little bit here to start, to kind of find the strike zone, a 4-pitch walk to start the inning, and is behind again 1-0. Went back to the fastball there to find the strike zone, so even it up at 1-1.
Yep, this is the catcher, Andrew Stewart. Sends that one foul. And 1-2's the count. Sends that one foul. Colton Pickett going to follow Stewart. Pops him up. That one going to be dropping in for a base hit. First baseman could not get to it, so the runner's going to advance to second, so they're going to have him at first and second with no outs. Difficult play for the first baseman, backtracking, trying to make that play.
Similar to what we saw there in the top half of the first with Jefferson. A good 2-strike pitch, just, got a little unlucky, hit it, didn't hit it hard, but found some green grass right there behind first base. So Alexander trying to answer back here in the bottom of the first.
So here's senior Colton Pickett, plays first base and third base. Today he'll be at first, 6 foot, 219-pound righty. Excuse me, hitting lefty.
Good fastball there from Simpson.
All right, the 1-1 from Eston Simpson. It's a nice break on it, but does not get it, so makes it 2-1. Pickett going to be followed by Mac Nail. It's a great name.
That's all tournament name.
That's
for
right.
Sure. One of the best I think we've had on the broadcast so far.
Yeah, we got our first home run of the spring season for us here a little bit earlier. That one coming to you courtesy of Steven Tavares. That one going to be up the shortstop, going to make the tag at second, on to first. Unable to get the double play, but they get one down. So we're going to have runners at the corners with an out.
Good play there at short. The second baseman was shaded a little bit towards the hole there with the left-handed hitter up, and shortstop was able to take it himself, get the force out at second. Not quite quick enough to turn the double play, but now you're in a position, one more hard ground ball away with a righty up. Might be able to turn 2 and get out of this inning with no runs scored.
Here's sophomore Jesse Williams. A big swing and a miss on that breaking ball that was trailing outside the box.
Might have been sitting on the fastball there. Looked a little bit out front of the breaking ball. It's like we got a foul ball on the field here maybe. Can't see it from the camera, but I've been here long enough to know that reaction from everybody.
That's right. That's kind of par for the course here at LakePoint Sports with, 8 fields and 4 in these little quads. You're going to run into that happening quite a bit in games.
Saw him squared a bunt there, maybe a little safety squeeze action, try to get a run across.
Yep.
Wasn't a suicide squeeze, or we would have had to play at the plate, so.
Sends that one foul. Makes it 1-2.
You can kind of see here from the center field angle. Simpson, fastball is, upper 80s, low 90s, and you can also see it from this angle, just a ton of arm side run and sink. And, as a right-handed hitter, that ball gets in on you, and, at 89, 90 miles an hour, it makes it that much more tougher.
So 1 down, 4-0 is your lead for Jefferson. 2 of those coming via home run from Steven Tavares.
Looks like we had the guy at first got picked off there.
Yeah, couldn't see that off the cameras there, not going back to the home plate angle. But so we got to have 2 down, so it's a little help for Eston Simpson.
Oh, goodness.
Get out of the way of that.
Now all of a sudden Simpson's, 1 pitch away here from getting out of this inning with no runs scored.
Now you currently got Sellers at third. Could not get Williams to chase there, so it's going to make it 2-2. Sends that foul.
Minus that first pitch breaking ball, been a heavy diet of fastballs. Able to induce a swing and miss on the first pitch. Maybe he goes back to it here. He did to get the swing and the miss.
All right, Eston Simpson gets him down on strikes, and that's going to get them out of the bind. 4-0 is your lead for Jefferson here at the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. We'll be back with more today. Our action is brought to you by Geo Services. Shoots that one up the middle for a base hit as we quickly rejoin you here at LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt.
Jefferson picking up right where they left off. First pitch ambush of a breaking ball. They were to line up the middle for a single. So they're looking to keep it going here to, add on some runs in the top half of the second to extend that 4-0 lead. Looks like we're going to have a runner for our catcher, possibly.
Yeah, that was Hudson Hodge, the catcher. So a base hit from Hudson Hodge, and now looking at Aaron Strickland.
Got the courtesy runner for the catcher in there, and automatically we see 2 throws to first, just making sure he's, alive and well over there at first base to make sure he's not still sleeping from coming off the bench.
Shoots that one into right field. So back-to-back base hits, and Jefferson in business yet again. Now we're going to be back to the top of the order, and Rhett Hemphill.
2 pitches, 2 hits so far for Jefferson. So good job by the bottom of the order guys, kind of ambushing a fastball, getting on base, and kind of rolling it over here to the top half.
All right, Hemphill, the junior, 5'11", 190. To the courtesy runner, Logan Woodruff. Looks like he's ready to roll.
Showed bunt there. Interesting to see. Usually top of the order guys have some speed, maybe lay one down, bunt for a hit, but worst case scenario, get both guys over.
All right, Heath Henley still on the mound. He's showing bunt. Henley delivers, gets it down. Catcher able to get the out at first, but runners advance to second and third.
I think he was able to leg that one out there.
Oh, it looked awfully close. All right, so we're going to have bases loaded as he beats out the bunt at first. Nice play there. A little bit of a delay there as the catcher went to make that throw. All right, here comes Aiden Mixon with no outs and the bases loaded here in the top of the second, 4-0 already the lead for Jefferson. Shows bunt, pulls back, in for a strike.
It's one of the things you see a lot more of in the high school game compared to the travel ball circuit. A lot more bunting, a lot more ABC baseball to get runs across. So interesting to see, a 2-hole hitter, bases loaded, nobody out, showing bunt early.
Nice pitch there, drops in for a strike. So 0-2 to Aiden Mixon. Jace Peoples to follow. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. Tip ball makes it 1 down.
After a chaotic first 4 or 5 pitches here for Henley's, same situation as last inning. One pitch away from getting out of this inning. Be able to settle down a little bit after that hectic start with 3 singles, 1 being a bunt.
All right, well, Snead State signee Jace Peoples watches that one come across for a ball. Peoples a nice 2-way. Also get a fastball around 90. Shoots that one foul. All right, here comes the 1-1 from Henley. Shoots that one to third base over its head, though. 1 run's going to score. Second runner's pulling up. He's headed home and throw not in time and make another run across the board. Makes it 6-0 Jefferson as Jace Peoples comes through with a 2-run single.
Jace Peoples living good so far in these first 2 at-bats. He's got 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and I don't know that either one was hit overly, hard, but, they've found a spot. And so he's 2 for 2 already with 2 singles and 3 RBIs and, leading this Jefferson offense early.
Oh, 1 swing and a miss, looking to jump on something here.
If you're Henley, you have to be frustrated. Get the ground ball you're looking for, the bases loaded, and just happens to find the 5-6 hole. So, hasn't pitched bad, been a little bit more on the unlucky side so far for, just those balls finding a hole.
Shoots that one into left field. It's going to be foul. And AB continues, and now we're dealing with some pretty bright sun across the field here. This is going to be a little bit more interesting, I think, for the batter than the pitcher. Now it's going to subside there with the clouds, and thought we were going to have another element at play, but nope. So here's Chris Law. He's got 2 strikes on him, 1 down in the inning. 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson here in the top of the second inning. That one gets away from Henley.
Henley minus the one pitch there in the first that he gave up the homer on. It really hasn't pitched bad. Just like I said earlier, just, a little bit unlucky. And sometimes, on the mound that tends to happen. And there's nothing really, it's out of your control. You just have to regroup and, keep pounding that strike zone.
Now currently 6 runs on 6 hits for Jefferson. Henley's only walked 1 batter. Law is going to be followed by Josh Causey. And Steven Tavares lurking. Oh, nice breaking ball, but does not get the call. Three-two is the count. Law's 0 for 1. Henley up to 52 pitches already here in the second inning.
Called strike 3 there,
But that ball sails into center field, and guess what? Another run's going to score, and the other runner's going to third base. So Hemphill scores, Peoples on third base, and 7-0 is your lead for Jefferson here in the top of the second inning. So we've seen a couple miscues there on the throws from Kesher to second base, and it's added up to a couple more runs for Jefferson. Not quite sure what we're calling here, but
looks like we're going to have, looks like a hitter's interference there on the throw to second may have entered over, out of the box. So that'll be, the run will not count.
Okay, so
the hitter and the runner at second are out.
All right, so it continues to be 6-0 then. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, and a lot of runway now here for Eston Simpson, and you start to wonder how long is he going to go in this game with this kind of a lead for Jefferson.
Absolutely. I mean, if he's able to give you maybe 2 more innings, maybe add a few more runs on, kind of let the bullpen work, get some guys some innings if the score stays where it's at, and get some guys, some experience out there.
See Ian Smith making his way down to the front row with Eston Simpson pitching. You'll hear from Ian a little bit later in this broadcast. Ian joining the Prep Baseball Georgia crew. He was previously down in Florida.
He's been a great addition, absolute grinder. I think I saw yesterday or 2 days ago on Twitter, I think he saw like 21 games so far or set something crazy like that. It's February the 22nd, and he's at 17, 18, 19, 20 games seen already. So, I mean, absolute grinder, does a great job on the scouting side for us, and glad to have him, be up here in Georgia.
Did any initiations that you guys do or anything you're allowed to talk about on air?
No initiations. We're just, we're just glad to have him. Nothing, no crazy initiations. He did bring me a coffee today, so I'm
there you go.
Big fan of that.
You guys didn't tape him to one of the foul poles or anything like that. Shoots that one into center field. That one going to camped underneath it for the out.
Great start for Simpson there, coming out, pounding the strike zone, getting an early swing in the at-bat, keep the pitch count down, kind of like we discussed earlier. If he's out there, just let him go and see how far he can get you into the game, maybe save some pitching for tomorrow's matchups.
All right, so Nail goes down on one pitch of that, or 2 pitches, excuse me, as that goes into center field for an out. So now we're going to see Micah Green. Green watches that one for a strike. So I mentioned Alexander without their biggest bat in the lineup, junior Terrence Bowen, Oklahoma State commit. He's the 3rd-ranked shortstop in Georgia, the 5th-ranked player overall in the class of 2025. So a big missing piece here.
Terrence was kind of we talked about the 2022 future games. Terrence, put on maybe the most, one of the most impressive rounds of batting practice, and then it translated into the game. Just backspins the baseball with power to the pull side. He'll definitely be, a big piece of this Alexander squad this year, and they'll be glad when he gets back. I mean, just having a guy like that in the middle of the order, to be able to hold down the middle in the infield, is always a good piece to have.
All right, we're going to have a base runner here for Alexander with 1 down in the inning. So Green gives way to Nathan Cromie here with 1 out. Cromie, a 6'2", 190-pound junior. Cromie with the serious flow here. He can't even. He's hard to read the numbers. So thankfully we're not in the scout towers right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, swing and a miss on Simpson on that one. That one gets away though, and the runner's going to advance to second base. Cromie also gets on the mound, runs it up to 81 on the fastball. Also has a curveball, 68 to 70. Works a change around 75, 76.
Seen Simpson be able to do some swing and miss early with that, well advertised breaking ball you talked about earlier.
Right. Cromie after my heart here with these Jordan cleats, and he sends that one into center field, going to camp underneath it for the out. At least he looked good doing it. As there's 2 down now in the inning for Alexander.
I feel like the cleat game these days is
it's next level.
It's taken a big step up. I think when, not to be the back in my day guy, but I think we had like 5 or 6 options.
That's right.
That's kind of what you went with. Now you see, some Jordans, some New Balances. The New Balance, like all grays, it's a great look.
That's right. Yeah, Chase Fralick, the Auburn signee for McIntosh, was having a conversation with him last week. He had on the Adidas Zone cleats, and he told me when the events he played at this summer that there was a rain delay, and the Adidas truck was just like, guys, I don't want to take this stuff home with me. So he says he got about 3-4 pairs now, and he just matches them up with each outfit. And he's like, I was never a cleat guy until I got a bunch of them, and now I'm finding myself matching them up with uniforms.
That's unbelievable. It's nice to play here. They don't have to get dirty or anything. You just kind of
That's right.
can keep them fresh.
All right, busy time for the center fielder. Backtrack. Oh, man, unable to make. Oh, he did make a. No, okay, he's going to be out. A fantastic catch in center field. Man, Owen Prim, just a ridiculous effort to get the out. It was a little bit hard to read as he went to the ground there, and the one runner came across home and another on his way to second. But, man, Owen Prim with a fantastic effort to get out of the inning and keep Alexander off the board. 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson. We'll be back with more from LakePoint Sports. This broadcast brought to you by Geosurfaces. Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Avery Hunt. Avery, we've seen Jefferson just getting some help for Eston Simpson. We knew he was going to kind of settle in a little bit. I thought that last inning, Alexander looked like they may have something going, but I just thought Jefferson defensively, just backing him up. We saw a fantastic catch there from Owen Prim. A lot to like so far from this Jefferson squad. Absolutely.
He's kind of helped himself out, too. He was in a jam in the first inning, was able to pick the guy off at first base. Anytime you can do that on the mound, help yourself out is a good thing. But, great play by Prim there to end the inning. We were confused. Nobody made an out call. So we're, we're guessing, from, 300 foot away in center field trying to see what's happening.
I think everyone was just surprised. Maybe it was just one of those plays where it's like, did we just see what we thought we just saw? And he had to backtrack on it, too. I mean, he was headed towards the warning track and just made a diving catch, saved potentially a couple runs. If that thing bounces away, we may be talking about an inside-the-park home run. So just a fantastic effort to haul that down.
Absolutely. A great play. Like you said, helping the pitcher out any way you can is always a good thing.
All right, so Heath Henley still on the mound for Alexander. 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson. So we have another base runner here. Notice a little chaos here in the background. We're having a studio break-in here as Hudson Graham's about to join the broadcast and take over for Avery Hunt. All right, this is Josh Causey, the designated hitter, on first base now. And here's Steven Tavares, who's already got a bomb under his belt today. Belted a 2-run shot into left field. Looking to jump on another Heath Henley delivery. Nice skies that one to right. Ball just jumping off his bat today.
Just a tick behind that one. That was a similar pitch to the one he hit out to left center in his first at bat. Just a little behind there. So we'll see if he can hang in there with 2 strikes.
I mentioned it in his first AB, but a 6'2", 210-pound third baseman, junior. That one's bouncing in front of the catcher. Taking off. The runner is going to be safe.
Good dirt ball read there at first base. I know the Jefferson coaching staff is definitely happy with that. I know most high school coaching staffs preach that early in the preseason practice. So, they're definitely pleased with that. Any way you can get a guy in a scoring position.
They've been awfully aggressive on the base pass. I mean, we've seen a couple miscues in the exchange there, getting the ball to second base. It's allowed some runs to score, and then we saw another stolen base. Big swing and a miss, so Tavares goes down on strikes. So round number 2 in that matchup goes to Heath Henley. Round 1, of course, went to Steven Tavares as he hit that 2-run bomb. So here's Owen Prim. Made that ridiculous catch in center field, and let's see what he's able to do at the plate with 1 on and 1 down here in the top of the third. 6-0 is your Jefferson lead. Prim, the Augusta University signee. When you talk about getting to that ball, we mentioned the 60 speed in his first AB, 6'6'9". So I mean, this dude can just run down a ball in the outfield as well, and love to see what he's able to do on the base pass if he can get something going. Swing and a miss, so back-to-back strikeouts for Heath Henley. A little bit turbocharged here in this outing, so here comes Hudson Hodge.
Henley's able to get out of this, with no damage. Alexander still, even with Eston Simpson on the mound, still be able to, stay within striking distance, string a couple hits together and get back in this game.
That's in for a strike. Henley's found his edge now.
It's kind of gone a little more up-tempo here. You see the hitters stepping out, trying to maybe slow him down a little bit, get him a little out of sync.
Misses on the 0-1. Josh Causey is your runner you see at second base. 2 down. If Hodge reaches, and we're going to see Strickland up next, Aaron Strickland. Not make it 2-1. Henley delivers, not getting that one, so now 3-1. Again, 6-0 is your Jefferson lead here in the top of the third. They're threatening again with another runner in scoring position. A 2-out walk. 2-out walks can be killer. Now we got runners at first and second. Here comes Strickland. Strickland's 1 for 1. Remember, he and Hodge came up big in the last of ABs to help this become a 6-0 lead. See if he can get on and turn things over to Rhett Hemphill on the top of the order. Sends that one foul. Ooh, swing, not swinging at that one as it's up and near his head. Now 2-1.
Might be getting a little bit fatigued here on the mound. He's leaving the fastball up a little bit. So.
Yeah, 71 pitches that we're up to for Heath Henley. Nice breaking ball, but could not get that call. Assume we're about like 4 or 5 games into the season for these teams. It'd be hard to imagine that he's gotten around the 70 pitch range and multiple times. So this could be getting near the end here for Heath Henley.
I'm sure they'll try to have him get out of this inning here. You know, maybe save an arm, have the arm out of the bullpen, start fresh in the top of the fourth. So I know Alexander would like to see him finish this inning here.
Well, he's got 2 down, 2 on, 6-0 deficit. As Jefferson has already plated 6 runs on 6 hits. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. 3 Ks in that half of an inning for Heath Henley and keeps Jefferson at bay and leaves a runner stranded. Continues to roll along. Again, 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson. Avery, man, appreciate it. And turn things over to Hudson Graham. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the other one.
And we got Dawson County and back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Hudson Graham from Prep Baseball, Georgia. You just saw our video of the process of resurfacing these fields. This broadcast brought to you by Geosurfaces. They're also the hands that made that possible there. 40 days it took them to get that entire process done of getting these fields resurfaced. Talked to Avery a little bit about this. I know we heard from some of the coaches, some of the players last week. What do you continue to hear about just how excited people are? I thought it was funny. One of the coaches told me they saw it on Instagram, didn't realize it was real. They thought it was all digitized, and get here and they get to see it in action. And I think everyone's been really thrilled with what they've seen so far from these fields.
Yeah, I think the color's a little different. I think it gives it a more big league feel. I think that's the biggest thing, is it just feels cooler to the kids. As cliche as that sounds, I think they really like the color of it. The two-tone green with the light brown. I think it just feels like a really cool ball field to play on.
We've got a game for you right now. 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson. You're seeing Eston Simpson, Clemson commit on the mound right now. Avery and I talked a little bit about Eston. Certainly, a guy who the 2022 future games really made his name for himself. I remember talking to him about his slider and how it just kind of opened some eyes, and just he faced, I remember, a really good Texas lineup back then, and just really, kind of made his name for himself. What do you remember about that star turn for Eston Simpson?
Yeah, I was just talking to his parents. Really big moment for him, obviously, and then earning MVP pitcher of the entire future games was a really big deal for him. The road for Eston's been pretty cool. I got to see him last February. He was 84, 86 this time last year, and same delivery, same long, lanky frame. And then we get to see him at top prospect games over the summer, and he's running it up to 89, and then today I come out there and he's 91, 92 for his first couple pitches. So it's really taken off for Eston. He's a great kid. I couldn't be more excited for him. But he's really excited for Clemson. I know he had quite a few other visits lined up, but Clemson was kind of home to him from the beginning, so it all worked out for him.
Well, he's got a base runner's hands here now as Sickler is able to reach. And
yeah, this guy's being really tight on him. I was back there for his first couple innings, and usually never see Eston get frustrated like this, but you know he's around the zone. He knows what his zone is, and it seems like some of these pitches are right there.
Well, he's going to get the call there. Strike to Joshua Sellers. Sellers, the leadoff hitter. Yeah, I was talking to Dalton Martinez, the Alexander coach, before this game, and obviously he doesn't have Terrence Bowens out there today. Also down at Noah Burton as well, and that's that one going to be on to first base for the out. So runner advances to second. Missing a couple key cogs in his lineup, and certainly down 6-0. Going to be hard to make up that ground when you're missing the kind of players he's missing.
Yeah, he's piecing it together. I know he's trying some different things here early in the season to see what sticks for him. They got some talent coming up, but obviously not having Bowen's a big hurt for the lineup just because he can make such a big difference. But Eston makes a good pitch there to get that first out.
Sends that one foul.
And the thing about Eston too is that we know strikes isn't his problem. So when I was watching the first batter, he goes 92, 91, 92, and then a 90 for a walk. I wasn't too concerned about it. Just obviously he can handle the big time light. He threw in the future games, primetime slot, 7 p.m. starting, and did just fine. So I was excited to see him bump a 92 and then finish it up with a couple more 90s, and has held it the last few innings as well.
Yeah, I mean, the one hit that Alexander has had to him was a ball that's just in no man's land in right field that the first baseman was trying to make a beat on and just couldn't get to it. And just there's no way anybody's making a play on that ball.
Yeah, the composure shows there too, because leadoff walk, first batter of the game, and then you get a dink hit like that. A lot of times it can unravel on guys, and Eston stayed composed and got out of it. Has a swing and a miss there for the strikeout.
All right, so that strikeout is number 3 for Eston Simpson. He also has 3 walks on his ledger.
And if you see Eston too, it looks like he's barely throwing up there. He's on cruise control. The mound presence is obviously really high, but he still looks like he's barely throwing it.
So we mentioned tomorrow we're going to have Dawson County and North Forsyth coming at you from at 12:30. This is the second weekend of the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. Tell me some of the other games that you kind of got circled that you're going to be watching for as we get through this weekend.
Yeah, so I started off watching Hillgrove, but they kind of ran away with it here and already starting to get some subs in. I got to see one Avery Wilson AB, who we talked about, and then got to see a Carson Vick AB, but he got hit on the shoulder. So I'll definitely circle back to them, get to see them one of the games, and then Carrollton tonight. I want to see them. North Forsyth and Walker's over there now. Walked over there for a few minutes. North Forsyth's lineup's looking pretty good, so we'll see what they got going. Seth Dixon will be on the mound for North Forsyth, Game 3, I believe, or Game 2 tomorrow. So we'll definitely get a look at him.
We get Braden Weems tomorrow, too. Ask the coaches about
yep.
it. So, yeah, we'll get to see Braden in action. So
yeah,
nice
he's definitely one of the top uncommitted lefties in the state for the 25 class. Looks like he got him there, yep.
All right, did. So going to get out of that half of that inning, 6-0 continues to be your lead for Jefferson here in the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. This broadcast brought to you by Geosurfaces.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Back at it here at LakePoint Sports. This is the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. This broadcast brought to you by Geo Surfaces. I'm Cory McCartney, joined by Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. Had some dancing there at shortstop. You'd like to see that as we head on out. 6-0 is your lead for Jefferson. They're going to try to build on that as we head on to the top of the 4th inning.
I caught the tail end of it whenever I was waiting to get on the broadcast, but you mentioned Owen Prim had a big play.
It was crazy. Yeah, made a diving play in center field, running the ball down, headed towards a warning track, jumps backwards to make the play. We couldn't even tell what happened in the moment. Everyone kind of just stood there. It looked like the runner was headed home. The guy who hit the ball was on his way to second base, and the next thing you know, everybody kind of just starts trotting off the field. So, yeah, it's fantastic play.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite guys I saw last year. And being uncommitted, it was kind of surprising, and then finally found a home this summer in Augusta. But he can fly, really good defender. Well, kids like that will be able to stay in the lineup at the next level with those type of defensive abilities.
Brother Eli.
Yep, he's coming up.
Yep.
I think he's been playing a little bit, more so on the mound as that one gets through for a base hit. But yeah, I think they're calling for him, maybe in relief. Not sure what game, but I know the little brother Eli has been getting a little bit of time.
All right, here comes Mixon.
Mixon was one too I saw last year when I went to see the North Hall Jefferson game. He had a good game. Really athletic player, kind of the same as Prim. Real dynamic, can make the big plays on defense. A lot of these Jefferson guys are just hard-nosed players. They get after it.
Still seeing Henley out there. He's teetering on 80 pitches here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I didn't know that Tavares name. You mentioned he had a bomb. I didn't get to see it, but good frame.
Yeah, 6'3", 210. Just put together kid, and he just pummeled that ball.
Yeah, junior. He wasn't playing last year, but I shot Ian a text, told him to check him out next day B.
We're getting a little bit closer to it. And this is Aiden Mixon, 5'11", 180-pound senior. He's uncommitted. Runner's taking off again, and Jefferson just running wild.
Yeah, 6-run lead, even though it's a pretty good lead. You never know with these high school kids sometimes. A couple walks and a big hit later, and next thing you know, it's 6-4. So definitely staying aggressive, try to squeak a few more across.
That's their 5th stolen base. Hemphill, by the way, has 3 of them already. So Red Hemphill came to run.
I was looking through the schedule earlier. I didn't even mention Loganville. We'll get to see Loganville this week. Definitely got that one circled for the next slot.
2-time defending state champs.
Yep. Not the best start to the season, but that's how it goes. Last year I went down and saw Lowndes and Houston County play, and Houston County put it on pretty good, and then Lowndes gets rolling towards the end of the season and wins the 7A title. So it's not always about the start.
Shoots that one into right field, and that's going to be
fair ball, home run.
Another one, backtrack and gone, makes it 2 home runs as Aiden Mixon jumps on that offering and shoots it into right field for the homer. That's 2 on the game for Jefferson. They make it 8-0 here in the top of the 4th inning.
That ball is kind of up and in on his hands too. Really good job getting the barrel out.
Yeah, Aiden Mixon absolutely jumped on that ball. All right, so the Aiden Mixon homer makes it 8-0, and here comes Chris Law. Law's already got a homer this season, too. I'm sure he's looking to jump on in one as well. Watches that in for a strike. The only drawback about not doing the games in the scout tower, sometimes you lose the flight of the ball a little bit, so we're kind of sometimes at the mercy of our AI cameras here. That one's going to bounce down, and so does Heath Henley.
Yeah, I saw him looking at it. I thought he might have got a hold of it, and then about that time I see him put his hand up, headed to first base, and ends up getting out.
There comes the 1-1. Shoots that one foul. Getting near 90 pitches for Henley. Another foul, so this AB continues, and still no outs here in the inning.
It's been a theme for these Jefferson hitters. I remember when I was at the North Hall game and then the Cartersville playoff series. They're all tough outs. They all foul balls off, work deep ball counts.
You add that into Eston Simpson pitching like he's capable of, and this is a tough out for anybody when you're thinking about what happens in the 5A playoffs.
Definitely. I know they didn't have the best start to the year. I think they're 1-4 right now. But having Eston on the front line, if they can find a couple arms, they could definitely piece together a pretty good season. Peoples, I forgot they have Peoples on the mound too. He can sling it, two-way guy for them.
Yeah, Tavares also listed as one of their pitchers. Interested to see what he's capable of in the mound, but maybe we'll get to see him at some point this weekend. All right, 2-2 is the count.
If you look back at, I think Peoples was at some of the first showcases that we had here at LakePoint back when he was just coming up as a freshman, sophomore. Now he's a senior.
All right, Jace Peoples sends that one to third. The throw is going to be in time, so one down. I was jumping the gun on Chris Law. This is Chris Law now. He mentioned he's already got one bomb under his belt coming last week, so sure he'd love to add a third one for Jefferson, who's already got them via Aiden Mixon and Steven Tavares. 90 pitches now for Heath Henley, and I feel like that might be the end of the road. And here comes Martinez, and that's going to have a conversation with Henley.
Yeah, we mentioned talking about the new turf. I know a lot of guys are liking the true bounce off of it. Seems like that's a lot of coaches. Kids don't always think about that, especially, the outfielders, but there were a lot of times on the older turf it was a little bouncy. They'd sneak over the outfielder's head, but I know the coaches seem happy about it, about the turf giving a more true hop.
I also heard some nice comments last Saturday, because we had a little bit of rain overnight between the Friday and Saturday games last weekend, and the way that the turf had reacted to the rain and being a wet surface. I thought some of the coaches said that they were surprised how quickly it seemed to dry up. So I think that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle too, considering how often during the summertime that we end up getting those pop-up storms that halt action for a little bit. So that's going to be big.
Yeah, those replacement spots on the bases, just as the turf wears over time, you have to replace certain patches, and I know some of those replacement patches were a little slick at times, especially when it rained. You see guys go flying past the bag, which I've seen it happen in here too. You just got to know how to slide on the turf, but I think it definitely would agree that it seems to hold up a little better in wet conditions.
All right, so we got a pitching change for Alexander, so check out this new arm that they've brought in, and it's going to be number 12.
I know Ethan Lower's a lefty for him, but not sure if this is him or not.
This is Blake Fortner.
Gotcha. Senior.
All right, so Fortner steps in, and he's facing an 8-0 deficit. We've already seen Jefferson get 8 runs on 8 hits. Alexander's just had 1 hit so far, and we mentioned that was on a bloop into right field against Eston Simpson. So
I know Eston texted me right after our interview talking about some of the games to watch, and texted me and said he was starting this one, which I was glad because it was going to be the broadcast game. But the West Forsyth matchup would have been a cool one for him to face off against. He was looking forward to facing Bowen too. His dad they were bummed whenever he found out he still had basketball. He was excited to play against him and pitch against the Future Games member too.
how much are you already having conversations with the coaches here about guys that you might be eyeballing for spots this summer on the Georgia Future Games team?
Yeah, I definitely want to put it in their ear early. Typically, we'll try to go around and kind of see if some guys pop up that they've had early in the year, whether that be sophomores or even juniors. For instance, like last year, the Jared Glenn, Terrence Bowen, Eston, guys like that, we didn't know about them this point last year. Like we had no clue who Jared Glenn was, and then he comes through and has a big year at Decula and, has a huge playoff series against Parkview. So it's cool to see these guys pop up, but the coaches do a great job relaying the message for us. So definitely try to get around and make sure there's no young guys that have kind of popped up and went off early in the season. And then same thing with the juniors, 7 to 17U future games this year. We want to make sure that there's guys that have kind of flown under the radar and make sure we get eyes on them early.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys playing this weekend that you might be looking at for that team in particular, and guys that, not that you – I think you guys make a conscious effort to not let players kind of be swept under the rug, but maybe as guys get to that, that 25 class, it got the big names have already been accounted for. So some of those other players you guys may not be thinking of as much, but now you have an opportunity to think about them more. And I'm sure that that kind of has to play into the way you're piecing things together.
Yeah, I agree. There's a ton of kids out there like that. Ton here this weekend. We've talked about some of them, but East Forsyth has one. Trey Farr, he's had a big year already. Just staying on guys like that, making sure we get to see enough of them. Like last weekend we talked about the Zagarans. We've known about them. We were kind of just waiting for them to commit, but they still haven't. Kind of waiting on that right spot. But guys like Carson Vick on Hillgrove, he's definitely one that's kind of floating under the radar. Avery Wilson as well. He's another one on Hillgrove. So really it's just trying to. There's so many good players. Some of these kids that we're looking at for the future games, they'll be uncommitted at this time next year if they don't get on the team. So it's definitely a tough task for us to handle with so many guys, but try to do the best we can and make sure we see everybody we can.
All right, so we got Josh Causey up to the plate now. Josh is 0 for 1. All right, runner going to take off. We've seen Jefferson be ultra aggressive on the base pass. That's their 6th stolen base. Sends that one foul, makes it 1-2. Comes the 1-2 from Fortner. That one's going to drop down for a base hit. That's trouble. One run's going to score. Causey's on his way to second base, going to pull up for an RBI double. 9-0, man. That was just trouble from the get-go. As soon as that thing dropped, you knew the right fielder was going to be running like crazy to catch up to that ball before Causey decided where he was winding up. Just more big-time hits for Jefferson there, and they're just piling it on up 9-0 here in the top of the 4th. So again, we've seen a pretty much lights-out performance from Eston Simpson and backed up by some really timely hitting from this deep Jefferson lineup. We've seen it from the top of the order, we've seen it from the bottom of the order down with Hodge and Strickland, and just keeps making it happen. And here is Steven Tavares talking about making it happen. This guy's already got a 2-run bomb on his ledger for the day, and see if he can make something else happen with a 9-0 lead with one out here in the top of the 4th.
And this is kind of the turning point for a lot of these high school teams. They really want to start trying to find their lineups, towards the end of this week, maybe next week, as they get geared up for region play. A lot of these teams play really tough non-region schedules, just trying to figure out what their lineups are going to look like as when region play rolls around. Had a big matchup yesterday or day before, I believe, Cartersville and Etowah. Carterville snuck away with the win, 1-0, but I know Matthew Sharman had a big night, and then Ryan Johnson faced him off for Cartersville, but Cartersville ended up walking away with the 1-0 win.
The bite on that pitch for the strike. Who else did you see in action this week?
I didn't get to see a whole lot. Ian was all over the place. Ian rode up to Pickens for their little tournament they had going on. He got to see Ty Peoples, our number 1 2025 and All-American Game alumni. They got to see River Ridge. They got to see Woodland, good little lefty for Woodland that we've been pretty high on. But Ian's been all over the place this week.
We got to get Ian's travel log going, as many miles as this guy's logging as he kind of settles his way into the prep baseball Georgia team and all around Georgia baseball action.
Yeah, I think before this game it was game 17 for the month. He said.
That's insane.
So I know it gets long. The year gets long. So I know. Told him he's got to pace himself a little bit. Luckily, he's been finding the right games, right matchup. He went to see Marist in Mill Creek, which was a good one. Got to see David Albert on the mound and uncommitted 2025 for Marist, and then sophomore William Myhan for Mill Creek. So he definitely finds the right matchup. He's not going to games just to be going. So it's been a good start to the year, and this is kind of our turning point after these 2 big weekends at Georgia Dugout Club. We'll really start narrowing it down and trying to find some different games to get out to and get down to South Georgia a little bit. Spread the love around a little bit.
All right, 1-1 is the count as Tavares goes down. Here's an Owen Prim. Prim sends that one into left field. Make a beat on that.
He wants it.
He wants it, and he's got it. Another home run. Owen Prim, man, this guy is having an absolute game. He makes the big play in center field now. He's got himself a 2-run bomb to show for it. Extends this Jefferson lead, and I talked about how fast he was. You just saw. I don't know if I've ever seen a home run drop that fast, but Owen Wilson, you do your thing, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be letting me know about that one. I'll have to let him know I'm on the broadcast. Sorry, I missed your bomb there, Owen. At least we got it on the broadcast. You can go back and watch it. He always keeps me updated with some of his stats, and he just missed another home run the other day. He said he had a leadoff double. But, yeah, he got all of that one. And as you saw, getting around the base, he's dynamic. He wants to play the game fast, so can't knock him for it. There's another one. Gets down.
All right, so Hodge drops that one down for a base hit. You know, they always say, act like you've been there before. I'd rather have the guy so excited he flies around the bases as opposed to the guy who sits there and watches it for 30 seconds. But,
yeah, he's been there. I know he's hit him before. Ian just texted me and said Prim went yard and hard 90'd all the way around the bases. So the type of player Owen is, that fits the description for sure.
You guys should have gotten the sensors out. We should have timed him on that 60.
Definitely. He loves the game. I know he was kind of stressing towards the end of last summer when he didn't have a spot to play, and we got him in top prospect games, had a really good top prospect games, talked to a ton of coaches about him. They all really liked him. So I think he had some good options after top prospect games. So he's one it's been cool to see. We've gone to battle for him and reached out to a lot of coaches and found him a place in Augusta in the Peach Belt where he should fit in really well.
11-0 is now your lead for Jefferson here in the top of the 4th inning. And that one's in there for a strike. $11 runs on 11 hits so far for Jefferson, and we're getting a long break here for one Eston Simpson. Eston's thrown 51 pitches through 3 innings.
Knowing Eston, he's probably want to get pulled and come back to throw tomorrow or something, knowing him, but no way that's happening.
Now we got Aaron Strickland up now for Jefferson. This is the bottom of the order. You get your number 7 hitter. So we've seen the number 6 and 7 hitters for this Jefferson team hit some home runs so far. So
yeah, that's good for the offense. Especially, I know Owen. I mean, Owen's typically towards the top at the leadoff spot, but might have been struggling a little bit the last few games. Slide him down a few slots, and then he gets a hold of one to get back in his rhythm. So good stuff there by the Jefferson coaching staff, mixing up the lineup if that was the case.
1-2 is the count to Strickland. Once again, we got Logan Woodruff as the pinch runner for catcher Hudson Hodge at second base.
Can't tell. Looked like the Hillgrove game might be finishing up a little early. They were playing a team from Florida.
Yeah, so explain this a little bit so people who may be wondering, watching and saying, okay, a Florida team is playing the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. How does that come about?
Yeah, so I was walking up the stairs a few minutes ago, and we were just lucky enough to get to host this tournament and cover it. But the Georgia Dugout Club guys, they put it all together. There's a lot of coaches on, I guess, the panel, I guess you could call it, for the Georgia Dugout Club. But it seemed like that they always play those two teams at a tournament in Orlando, they mentioned, because I was talking about getting some South Georgia teams up here next year maybe. But that's the only really info that I have on those. I know I reached out to our Florida guys. They got a couple University of Central Florida commits, FAU commit, I think, on one of the teams. So they should be solid. But, anybody wants to get up here to play some Georgia baseball, especially early in the season. They can help guys out. The competition up here is no joke. I know Florida's the same way, but, something different. I know when these schools have good budgets, they always want to try to do some fun trips and stuff for the kids.
I think we're going to see a new hitter here stepping in for Jefferson. It's going to be Williams. And I apologize, this guy's actually not on their roster. So a youngster getting an opportunity here. Sends that one back up to Fortner, makes the flip to first base to get out of the inning, but not before Jefferson continues to build on their lead. Owen Prim coming through with a 2-run bomb. Makes it 11-0 here as we roll along at the Georgia Dugout Club tournament here at LakePoint Sports. And Cory McCartney mentioned here, joined by Prep Baseball Georgia's Hudson Graham. And Hudson, you and I talked about this earlier this week, getting people ready for this weekend's event. We saw some big performances in last weekend's event. I spent some time with Chase Freilich, the Auburn commit. Shooter Hunt and I talked about this on Coffee and Curveballs episode we shot this morning. That guy just, the name was already out there, but he had 105 exit velo off the batter's eye.
Yep.
Man, that guy just absolutely just exploded last weekend.
Yeah, I think he was 8 for 12 on the week with like 5 doubles, a home run, and a single. We actually just talked with Shooter as well on our 2024 rankings, and I think he's going to go ahead and get a pretty good bump. We feel good about his, feel for hit, the power's there, left-handed first baseman long-term maybe. So he's definitely one that Shooter really liked that we're going to, shoot up the rankings here in the next update as we release those on Monday.
So I talked to Jay Abernathy before North Cobb's game today, the number 1 player in Georgia in that class. You got Michael Mullinax, the number 2 player who was also here last weekend. You've watched Jay for a while now. I'm kind of interested in the progression that you've seen out of him as a player.
Yeah, it's always been there. I remember over the summer when he was playing for the Southeast Sox, kind of right before he really got a big name. The actions have always been there in the field, but it's really the strength that played the biggest part for him. He could always run. He was always quick on the bases. So that was never the question. It was really when that following summer is when he started hitting, home run here, double off the wall here, is really when his name started to take off.
All right, we're back at it here at the bottom of the 4th. Eston Simpson still on the mound. He's allowed 1 hit through his 52 pitches, and that one's going to hard to get a beat on that one as our camera's not following it. It'll be another out, so Eston continues to roll along. Just 1 hit he's allowed so far. A couple errors by Alexander in this one, but they've just made 1. They've got no runs, 1 hit, 2 errors, 11 runs, 11 hits, no errors from Jefferson. So 1 down. And here is Mac Nail.
Yeah, the talent last week, Shooter just released his little scout blog article, if you will, for the event too. So be sure to check that out. A lot of good names in there. Alex Hernandez, Freilich.
Yep.
Mullinax, all those guys. He was able to, get down here and see a lot of those 2024 names that are they're going to be getting looked at for this year's draft.
Yeah, Shooter and I also talked about the fact that Prep Baseball's national high school rankings just came out yesterday, and you had a few Georgia teams that were appearing in there. You had Lowndes within the top 10.
Yep.
And then Etowah, who we had here last weekend, just, lighting everybody up at left and right in every turn, coming in at number 25. So a nice showing there for Georgia to get two teams within the top 25.
Definitely. And I told Shooter I wanted to squeak, I wanted to get Cartersville in there, and then they happened to just beat Etowah 1-0. So we should see them slide in there at some point. They're in there. They're right outside the top 50, but definitely got a good showing from all the Georgia guys with Lowndes, Parkview, Houston.
Yeah, I apologize.
Etowah.
Parkview in the top 25
Yep.
as well. So
I think we had 4. Yep. Houston, they don't have the big names like the Dunfords and the Burrises like they do last year, but they have a lot of good pieces, especially if a couple arms can step up. Kai Decker is an arm for them this year. He's a merge commit, usually just a lineup or a bat in the lineup playing third base or first base, but he threw a big game against Lowndes to get some little bit of a revenge back at them to even the series last week, I believe.
2-2 count. That one bounces away.
You can tell with Eston's pace here, he's definitely found his groove as he got that last strikeout there for out number 2.
Yeah, the sun's starting to play a little bit of tricks on our cameras here from the outfield angle, so apologize for the glare, just kind of par for the course as we head to this part of the day. Does not get that one. I'm sure a little frustration from Eston there, thinking he was getting the call on the edge, but doesn't. And we've got a base runner here with 2 outs.
That's another thing, too, on the light brown turf. That white picks up a little bit more, so I think it may help our umpires a little bit see that 5-hole. Even though that's not quite a ball off the plate, I think it's right there. It definitely helps them see that pitch that a lot of kids get strikeouts on.
Here comes Nathan Cromie. Nathan's a sophomore. 2 down, 1 on, 11-0 lead. Runners taken off. First stolen base in this game so far for Alexander. We've seen 6 of them out of Jefferson.
Yeah, I think Eston's still sitting in the 90 range here, which is good to see.
Third baseman going to make that play, throws across the diamond to first in time. So we're going to be out of that inning. 11-0 is your lead for Jefferson. Still just 1 hit for Alexander as Eston Simpson continues to cruise. We'll be back with more shortly here from LakePoint Sports. This is the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. This broadcast is sponsored by Geo Services.
Next. Next. Stop.
We got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super, 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 super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering. Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
We're back at it here at LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney joined by Prep Baseball, Georgia's Hudson Graham. This is the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. This broadcast sponsored by Geo Services. 11-0 is your lead for Jefferson, and they've just looked awfully impressive. We've seen about everything you can want to see from Eston Simpson on the mound. He's got 3 strikeouts through 4 innings, the Clemson commit, and that offense has just been killer. 3 home runs. They've got 11 runs on 11 hits. As they try to build on this in the 4th. We got Mixon up to bat right now. Mixon's got a homer. Aiden Mixon's homered. We've seen Owen Prim homer. We've seen Steven Tavares homer. Swing and a miss. Still Blake Fortner on the mound for Alexander. Coming in relief of Henley, Heath Henley. Shoots that one right at the second baseman for the out.
think we might have had a pinch hitter there. Chris Thomas, maybe, number 9.
Okay, well, now we're going to see Logan Woodruff. Logan had previously been the pinch runner for catcher Hudson Hodge. Now he's going to get a chance to bat. Yeah, look like we did have a pinch runner that was quick, that was not changed in real time on Game Changer. So not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but we missed Chris Thomas there, the junior, getting a chance to hit and shooting one right at the second baseman. So one down, and I mentioned. Got Logan Woodruff now up to bat with 1 down in the inning.
I was surprised not to see David Jackson Jr. in the lineup for Alexander. He was one of those sophomores that we talked about last weekend and had a couple good swings.
Yeah, he was here. Coach just told me he was unavailable for this game, so
Gotcha.
We'll see if we get to see him as gameplay continues this weekend.
Yeah, he impressed on the mound too as Jefferson lines out to the shortstop there, but he was up to 88 on the mound. I didn't get to see him throw at preseason All-State because he was a two-way guy and the mound was up top. But he ran it up to 88 and looked really good in his outing. So two-way future for Jackson as a sophomore. We'll see what kind of happens with him.
2 down, and here is Chris Law. Law uncommitted, 6'2", 205. Skies that one. Who's got it? Don't know, but somebody able to make the play. Nope.
Must have squeaked foul.
Yep. All right, AB's going to continue.
Yeah, when those shadows starts to hit, the turf even pops out a little bit more. I love the way it looks once the sun goes down.
Should be interesting too when we get some of those early summer mornings we get fog on it. Should be a little bit easier for some of the kids to see, I would think, too.
Definitely brightens the ball up a little bit. Another foul ball there. Looks like it gets out.
All right, 0-2's the count. There's 2 down in the inning. Got Chris Law looking to keep this inning alive. 11-0 is your lead for Jefferson. You guys have released your classification rankings in the last week or so. How daunting is that process of putting those together?
Yeah, so when I first came in last year, it was something that we kind of took a step back from. Me just trying to get my feet under my belt and everything for the spring, and we just did the Power 25. But now we're back at those, and it's definitely we're going to miss guys here and there. We're going to try not to, but there's so many teams in Georgia dealing with the 7 classifications, 2 and 1A. So it's definitely tough, but trying to do our best to stay up to date. If we stay on top of it, it helps out a lot. But there's always guys coming up and down, and then the Power 25. We only have the 25 spots, so that's sometimes even tougher than deciding these classification rankings.
Sends that one to the third baseman, so we've seen second, short, and third all get involved and able to make the out. So a clean inning for Alexander as they get through that one. And ahead to the bottom of the 5th inning, 11-0 is your lead for Jefferson.
So a little bit of our thought process was that, the Power 25, we wanted it to be the 25 best teams, whether that be they're off to a bad start with a couple of losses or, we want those teams to be in there towards the end of the season. So the classification rankings will kind of slide guys up and down depending on their records, and obviously if we get to see them, we'll know their talent level and what they can do. But the Power 25, we want it to be more of a, we want those 25 teams, being in the playoffs come May. So trying to get the 25 best teams in there. Obviously, there's so many teams in Georgia, so it's so tough to do. But we're going to do our best to stay up to date on that and do the best we can with those rankings.
And I'm sure there's some coaches who say, you know what, you guys have got me here. Come see us because we feel like we should be a little bit higher. How much do you guys kind of deal with that?
I would love to deal with it more because, we're trying to pick all these games to go to, and there's all kinds of factors that come into play. But when coaches, reach out and say, hey, I really feel good about this ball club, come see what you think, in a respectable way. Obviously, we're going to get the, responses and stuff on Twitter, not from the coaches, but we'll get responses on Twitter and stuff. It's like, hey, so-and-so just beat so-and-so. And so, we do like it to an extent. We want to, get out to see more guys. If somebody's, 6-0 somewhere that we need to see, we want to get out to see them. So, feel free to, reach out to us, whether that's DM or by email. Let us know how the ball club's looking. We'll try to get out to come see them.
Yeah, well, certainly a daunting process as you try to get through all these teams, and certainly you guys are able to get to what you're able to get to. It's almost, I have to think the travel season almost has to be a little bit of a breather as seemingly everybody just comes to you.
Here. Yeah. No, we want to, and this year too, we want to put an emphasis on getting out more. We want to get down in Augusta, South Georgia, even farther south down there with Lowndes and Valdosta and Brunswick and those guys. So it is a tall task for sure. We wish those places were, 30 minutes away like the other hundreds of high schools are, in the metro Atlanta area. So it's easy to stay around here to watch games, but we want to try to do our best to branch out and, see more games this spring.
How much did that campus tour that you guys did in the fall kind of help with that when you kind of were able to put some feelers out there and get a sense of who some of these kids were in other parts of the state?
Yeah, it was good, especially the one in South Georgia. We got to get down there in the fall for the Georgia Southern event, and then we ran the fall campus tour, and then we got back to Coffee County High School as well. So couple big names popped up there that we kind of knew about. There was one kid from Brunswick that we had no idea about. That was definitely a high follow for us now. Alexander gets a hit there through the 6-hole. But yeah, those have helped out a ton. We ran one at Kennesaw State. We're trying to get over in the Gwinnett area more. We ran one at Georgia Gwinnett College. So there's just so many high schools around here. I think we were looking the other day. There's like 22 high schools in Gwinnett County.
Jeez.
So we want to try to tap into that area, get to see them more, and then obviously South Georgia's got good baseball as well. So the more we can get down there, the better.
So Eston Simpson's day is over on the mound for Jefferson. This is now Brody Trummel, the junior. And he gives up the second base hit on the day as Devin Strickland comes through. So now we got Michael Sickler, Jr., looking to do something here as we've got a runner on to start things off in the bottom of the fifth inning for Alexander.
This summer, too, we'll try to get down. I think we got an event kind of trying to get off the ground in Augusta, try to see those Evans guys, Lakeside, Augusta Christian. They got a lot of good baseball down there. So going to try to get there for an event this summer and then get a little farther south at some point as well.
Expanding the footprint without question. And I'm sure sometimes it is easy to say, look, we live in Atlanta. There's so many teams in Metro Atlanta. We our home base is LakePoint Sports. Everybody ends up coming to us at one point or another. And I'm sure it's easy to be, I don't say lazy, but it's easy to kind of have the sense of the stance that, we've got enough going on locally.
Yeah, totally agree. I was kind of in the same in that boat last year. I just wanted to get out, see as many guys as I could within the realm. But I did go to Houston County 3 times last year, trying to see them. I went to see the TIFF series. I went to see the Lowndes series early in the year, and then I went back down there for the playoffs and ended up getting rained out and had to head back. But it's definitely part of it. We have such good baseball here in the Metro Atlanta area and then across the whole state. We'll definitely, as we grow, we want to expand our scouts and, get a guy in South Georgia that can go watch games over the high school season there. Get a guy in Augusta that can go out and watch some games. So always on the look for well-established guys trying to grow their name in the scouting industry.
So that ball from Trummel bounces away, and the runner's going to advance to third. So, hey, somebody's listening to this, and you're in those parts of Georgia, get on Twitter and go to Hudson_PBR and hit him up. And if you want to be part of the family, get your name out there, build that brand, and become a part of what prep baseball is doing oh so well.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the preseason with our preseason All-State. I know we've talked about it before, but nearly 150 players we got to see in the preseason. Even more if you include the 3 open IDs, probably up to 200. So we want to keep growing that. We just posted our top prospect game showcases. Those will be, the underclass will be June 4th and 5th, and then the upper class will be June 11th. So those are our 2 big ones that we identify the Future Games team from. So definitely be on the lookout for an inbox invite on that, and then you can also find it on our website and request an invite to it as well.
So you guys have your first showcase on the resurfaced fields is next Sunday, March 3rd.
Yep, March 3rd. That's our younger 13U, 14U showcase. It's designed to identify our junior Future Games team, which is a big part, a cool thing to be a part of, and then it also helps us teach these kids the showcase process as they get into high school next year. which is crazy. Some of these 14-year-old kids, they could go play on a high school team right now. We've got some good guys coming back. Got some junior future games guys from 13U coming back to it this year. We're at around 50 players, so definitely take a look at that if you're a 13U, 14U prospect coming up.
All right, that one drops down. So Sellers comes through with an RBI single, and Alexander is on the board. 11-1 now is the score here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, I like Sellers in that leadoff spot. He kind of stood out to me at shortstop early in the game. He had a couple good plays, looked good warming up. I mentioned his name to Ian, so I believe he's a junior, 2025.
That's right.
So guys like that, you never know. Early in the year, if we get eyes on you, follow you in the summer, get out to top prospect games, you never know what can happen.
This is now the catcher, Andrew Stewart, senior. So he's got 2 on. Already 1 run scored for Alexander in this inning. No outs. I'm sure Eston Simpson was lobbying to go back out there, but with a 11-run lead, I don't really know that there's any reason to put your big arm out there and risk anything with this game seemingly in hand.
Yeah, that's the thing about Eston, too. It wasn't the best outing for him, but he still showed some impressive stuff. The velo held. It was, 88 to 90. I mentioned ran it up to 91, 92 in the first. So the progression is what we're looking for. It's what Clemson's looking for. They want to see him progress him. The frame's obviously already impressive, so now we just got to add strength to that frame and, start sitting in the 90-92 range, which I'm sure he'll be doing before no time.
All right, 0-2 is the count to Stewart. Again, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Stewart sends that one into left field.
Tough play.
Tough play, but the left fielder makes it. So the runner's going to retreat to first and another stay on second. Tough running into the sun like that, playing with the shadows and able to make that out, the first for Jefferson.
I know some of these coaches are starting to realize the fields with the sunrise and sunset, and a couple guys reached out to us about some of the fields that they were on, and luckily for us, we're not making the schedule for this one, so we turned them over to the GDC guys. But shadows can get tough sometimes on this field, and then on 9 in the morning sometimes. At one point, this field sometimes unplayable in the fall, I think, kind of where the sun sits at. It's get a couple sun delays throughout the fall. I always remember doing those.
Got a pinch hitter for Colton Pickett, so now we're going to see Caleb Blanks, Jr. It's even kind of hard for us to see off the camera with the sun going straight into our outfield camera right now exactly who's up to bat, but that's what Game Changer's for. That one bounces into the ground in front of the catcher.
Alexander had a game last weekend against Archer. They were both wearing red pinstripes. So that was a tough one to I believe they were wearing the same color hat as well, so I was doing double takes, trying to run around, trying to find guys.
Third baseman makes the tag at third, flips it to first.
Got him.
Double play to get out of the inning. So we're through 5 here at LakePoint Sports. 11-1 is your lead for Jefferson over Alexander. We'll be back with more here shortly from LakePoint Sports. This broadcast sponsored by GeoSurfaces.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Prep Baseball, Georgia's Hudson Graham. This one's in the books. A run rule lead win for Jefferson, 11-1 over Alexander. A couple things that I thought really stood out in this game. Obviously, the bats of Jefferson, they get 11 runs on 11 hits. We saw home runs from Andrew Mixon, from Owen Prim, and from Steven Tavares. I thought their bats just looked absolutely impressive today.
Yeah, I really liked Mixon last year when I saw him, but looks like he's added some strength, got a hold of that one. Really good bat from the left side. And then, like you mentioned, Tavares, he another good size frame and a righty, so want to be sure to maybe check him out.
And we talked a lot during this broadcast about the performance of Eston Simpson. What did you make of what you saw from him today, early in the season, but what did you like about what we saw from him over his 4 innings?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but I like to see the 91, 92 from him in his first batter. Even though he walked him, we know Eston can throw strikes. We know he can stay composed and get outs like he did. So that was cool to see. Obviously, he's been working in the offseason. I know Clemson's going to be really excited to see that. But, sky's the limit with that frame.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, Hudson. We also had Avery Hunt in here as well. This broadcast has been a blast, and we'll be back with more tomorrow here from LakePoint Sports in the Georgia Dugout Club Tournament. Tune in tomorrow at 12:30. We've got Dawson County against North Forsyth. Give me real quick a couple bullet points. What are we looking for in this matchup?
Yeah, we'll have Braden Weems on the mound for North Forsyth, uncommitted lefty, 2025, really big uncommitted name in the 25 class. So I want to see what he's got. And then Dawson County's got a freshman that's got a couple bombs on the year. So we'll see what he's made of. I know I was talking to the coaches earlier. They got a couple guys missing with basketball, but they got David Glass in the lineup, left-handed bat. So I know they're ready to compete. A little bit of a rivalry game, being cross-county. So should be a fun matchup with a fun North Forsyth lineup.
All right, make sure you tune in for that one. Going to be on air at 12:30. You'll be able to find us on YouTube, Facebook, and X as well. For Cory McCartney, I'm Cory McCartney for Hudson Graham and Avery Hunter. Appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time here from LakePoint Sports.